If you find yourself waking up unmotivated, feeling tired the entire day, just stuck binge watching shows and doom scrolling, then you are trapped in a rut. And when you're in this state, it becomes impossible to get moving or to do something productive even when you want to, because your body and mind just feel tied down. And the worst part is that one day in this rut can turn into a week or even a month before you know it. Look, I've been in plenty of ruts myself, but each time I was able to overcome it. And I've helped dozens of men overcome this exact problem. So I kind of get it. I know what it feels like to have no control over your mind and body. In this video, I'm going to give you 4 no bullshit principles that are going to end your rut and get you firing on all cylinders. So let's get right into it. The state of rut that you're in is basically being stuck in your comfort zone. And this is a very hard place to leave. So the first thing that you need to do is convince your mind that there's a place far better and far more fun than the place that you're currently in. I want you to visualize the kind of life that you are capable of living if you got disciplined and productive for the next 2-3 years. What is the kind of physique that you would have? Just how strong would you be? Where would you be in terms of your career? Maybe you could 5x your income and never have to worry about a price tag again. What would your relationships look like? Maybe for once your parents, your spouse, they would actually start respecting you because they see the type of man that you have become. They see the work ethic that you have. Listen to this quote by a young, hungry Conor McGregor.
I've lost my mind doing this game, yeah? Like Vincent van Gogh. He dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process. That's happened to me. But fuck it. And that gold belt is around my waist. And my mother has a big mansion. And my girlfriend has a different car for every day of the week. And my kids have everything they ever want. Then it will pay. Then I'm happy I lost my mind. Yeah? I'll die a crazy old man.
Your ideal version should light up a fire inside you. Whatever your name is, add a 2.0 next to it. This version represents you if you harnessed 100% of your potential. Just think about what an absolute monster that guy actually is and how he's having the adventure of his life. So at this moment, you have 2 choices with you. You can actually have this great adventure and go on this hero's journey towards self-development, or you can remain sedated, depressed and anxious and just jerking off to pixels on a screen. If you're pretty hyped up and motivated after listening to this, then just remember, motivation is just a spark. And a spark alone is not going to do much unless you capture this spark and turn it into a raging forest fire. And in the next few sections, I am going to teach you how to do just that. The biggest reason why you are in a rut for days or weeks is because of instant pleasure. You're most likely eating shitty food, doom scrolling, playing video games, smoking weed, or watching pornography. And all these things are sedating you and making you fall deeper and deeper into this comfort zone. Like, think about this. If all these things disappeared magically from the face of the earth tomorrow and you were just left with nothing, no way to please yourself, then your rut would be over instantly on that very day. Because now the only way that you can possibly entertain yourself is by doing productive things that require some effort. I hope that now it is crystal clear that the first thing you need to do is stop instant pleasure if you ever want to exit this rut. But the real question is, how exactly do you quit instant pleasure? What I used to do in the past was that I used to try and get out of this rut in the middle of the day. But because I tasted so much quick pleasure in the early parts of the day that now my body had become really accustomed to it and it used to crave it. So it became impossible to escape that pull. So my advice would be to do not even bother trying to escape this rut in the middle of the day or in the later half of the day. You're just gonna tire yourself out with this psychological tug of war. But what I did realize was that this pull of instant pleasure was the weakest in the mornings, right at the beginning of the day when I had not introduced myself to any form of quick pleasure. You've just woken up and this is the best time to make the great escape. Think of mornings giving you like a clean, empty slate. Now you want to make sure that you take advantage of this clean slate and not just go back to instant pleasure. So what I used to do was that just a night before, maybe 1 or 2 hours before I actually fell asleep, I would make sure that I removed all items of quick pleasure pleasure from my life, so that when I actually did wake up tomorrow, I would be less likely to consume it. For example, I would delete all social media apps from my phone, and I would throw away all the junk, snacks, fast food that I had in my fridge. And you might have different sources of quick pleasure. Maybe it's weed, maybe it's porn, whatever the case is, get rid of it, or at least make it really hard to access. So right now, I want you to mark tomorrow morning as your point of no return. No more instant pleasure after that point. So you psychologically prepare yourself for it. Because tomorrow morning when you wake up, you are going to have two choices in that moment. The first choice is, should you go back to sedating yourself and go back to comfort land? And the second choice is, should you start your adventure? Should you start your hero's journey of self-development? If you haven't gotten rid of these items of quick pleasure and there's a burger sitting right next to you, then guess what? You are going to take the easy choice and continue being in rut. Clean your room. I know this sounds very stupid and inconsequential, but the truth is that your room represents your psyche. And if your room looks like this, then guess what? So does your mind. I've noticed this about myself, that the days when I wake up in a messy room, then I'm far more likely to be impulsive, lazy, and gravitate towards bad habits. But on days when I wake up and my room is super clean and organized, then I just feel a lot more clear-headed about things. I know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do, and I have some sort of extra energy with me. So before tomorrow morning, before that point of no return, make sure that your room is clean and you actually wake up to a welcoming environment. Here's a bit of a pro tip. Because you're kind of cleaning your room while you're still in a bit of a rut state, you might not really feel like doing too much. What I do is I perform visual cleaning, meaning I take up all the surface level mess from my room and dump it in places where I cannot really see it. Maybe in my cupboard, maybe in the store, or maybe shoved in some drawer. This way I have to put bare minimum effort in cleaning, and yet I wake up in a visually pleasing environment and get that burst of energy the next day. Your first few days back after a long period of rut are the most important days. And if you successfully navigate these initial days, then each subsequent day is going to be much easier and way more fun. So your mindset is probably the most important thing during these initial days. I want you to go with the mindset that yes, initially things are going to be challenging. But if I can just get through these initial days without numbing myself with quick pleasure, then the rest of my life is going to be so much fun. I want you to embrace the suck, and I want you to fall in love with the process of building yourself back up. During the initial days, we are going to follow the principle of maximum tolerable effort. I want you to make a to-do list. And then I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what are the little things that I am willing to do today? Remember, you've just come out of a rut, so do not overwhelm yourself. If you start putting items that are too hard to do or too many items on that to-do list, then you're going to feel anxious and probably going to procrastinate even more. So be humble, be gentle on yourself, really negotiate with yourself and start with the small tasks. Maybe all what you're willing to do today is just read one page of a book, do an indoor workout for 10 minutes, and study for like 20 minutes. Like these 3 tasks on the first day should be more than enough. Or maybe if you're coming from a really down phase of your life, then maybe all that you're capable of today is just lifting a cup and putting it back in the kitchen sink. The purpose of these tiny things that we are doing is not to make earth-shattering progress, but it is to rather start getting yourself to feel good. When you do something even slightly productive, then your brain rewards you with this happy chemical called dopamine. This gets you feeling good about yourself, and as a result, it produces more energy and more motivation inside you. And you can actually leverage this to do more productive things. There are so many days when I've just started my day with very simple tasks such as just cleaning my desk, and that has provided me so much momentum for the rest of the day. So for the first few days, small tasks just to build up momentum. If you want to work with me to help you beat this rut, get your life back together, and be your accountability partner during this process, then make sure that you click on the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. Alternatively, you could DM me on Instagram and tell me about the challenges that you're facing. In this section, I'm going to tell you about some of the most effective biohacks that help you get out of the rut. And some of them might sound a bit weird, but trust me, they're really effective. The first thing that I would recommend is cold showers. If you can drag yourself to a cold shower early in the morning, then this will make the rest of your day feel like a breeze. The shower does not even have to be too long, maybe just 2 to 3 minutes in kind of cold water that makes you a bit uncomfortable. That is good enough, because cold showers have shown to increase your dopamine levels by 300%. And dopamine is this neurochemical associated with being motivated and happy. And if you can get this shot of dopamine early in the morning, then you're going to feel its effects for the rest of your day. The second biohack that has worked really well for me is fasting. Yes, fasting is when you do not eat food for a period of time. Because what happens when you eat food is that a lot of the resources in your body are now dedicated towards digesting this food. And this can get you feeling a bit tired, drowsy, and have a bunch of brain fog. Think of how you feel during lunch when you have a big meal and there's a sudden crash in energy. Yes, that is the food that is causing it. But when you're in a fasted state, then your body does not have to digest anything. And instead, all this energy is being utilized by your brain instead. So you feel a lot more energetic, clear-headed and focused. Also think about fasting from an evolutionary perspective. When your body senses that it has no food around, then it increases the levels of your alertness and motivation so that you can actually hunt and secure food. By the way, just to be clear, I am no doctor, I am no nutritionist. I am just a person on the internet that shares what has worked for me. If this works for you, great. If this doesn't, feel free to explore other things. So what I do now is that when I wake up in the morning, I try to delay my first meal of the day by as much as I can. I usually just delay that meal all the way up to dinner. But if you feel like you cannot push that long, or you're just not used to fasting, then at least try to push that meal to some point in the afternoon. Using these principles, you will be able to get out of a rut. But what then? If you still keep living the same type of life that you previously lived, then guess what? You're gonna have the same outcome. You are going to end up falling back in this rut again. So make sure that you watch this video to avoid falling in a rut again.